I donated a kidney to my fiance's sister to save her life. 2 months later, he left me for her. I didn't just lose love, I was used. You ever feel like your body did something heroic, but your heart paid the price? I still wake up some mornings clutching my side where the scar is, wondering if it was worth it, wondering how I could have missed all the signs, wondering how someone I gave everything to, literally a part of me, could leave me in the dust for the very person I saved. But let me start at the beginning. We were planning a wedding, a small one, just family and close friends. I had the dress picked out, ivory, satin, low back. I'd shown my fiancé, Evan, the Pinterest board like 1,000 times. He acted like he was bored, but he always smiled, said he liked watching me be happy. Evan and I had been together 4 years when he proposed. We met through mutual friends at a concert, him in a band tee, me in a thrifted floral dress. I thought he was cute, a little awkward, but funny in that dry way that sneaks up on you. We fell fast the way you do when you're young and hopeful. We moved in together in year 2. By year 3, we were talking kids. Year 4, he proposed on a rainy day in the park, and I said yes before he even finished the sentence. It wasn't perfect. What relationship is? But he was mine, or at least I thought he was. Now his stepsister, Lila, that's where things start to sting. Lila and Evan had grown up together since their early teens when their parents married. She was 2 years younger than him, a senior when he was starting college. They always called each other siblings. But I won't lie, there was something about the way they interacted that sometimes made me tilt my head. Private jokes, lingering glances, that too long kind of hug. But whenever I asked, Evan would laugh it off. "She's my sister, babe. That's disgusting." I let it go. I wanted to believe him. Then last year, Lila got sick, real sick. She was diagnosed with a rare genetic kidney disorder. Her condition declined fast. The doctor said she needed a transplant or she'd be on dialysis the rest of her life. She was terrified. Her mom and dad weren't matches. Evan got tested, but he wasn't a match either. I don't even know what made me volunteer. We weren't that close, but I did it anyway. I did it for Evan, because if someone I loved was in that kind of pain, I'd want someone to step up too. And I was a match. It was like winning a twisted lottery. I remember Evan looking at me like I was made of magic when we got the call. He cried. He held me so tight I couldn't breathe. "I can't believe you'd do this for her," he whispered into my neck. "For us." That "us" stuck in my brain. I let it define me. The surgery was brutal. They tell you all the risks, but nothing prepares you for the ache, the fatigue, the way your body mourns something it gave away. I couldn't lift anything for weeks. I slept propped up on pillows, popping painkillers and wincing every time I tried to sit or stand. Lila recovered faster than me. I kept telling myself that was the point. But then, something changed. Evan started spending a lot of time at Lila's apartment, said she needed help adjusting, picking up meds, just being there. At first, I thought it was sweet. He was finally giving back after everything I did. But he stopped texting as often. He came home late, said he fell asleep on her couch. They started having little inside jokes again, ones I didn't recognize. I'd ask what was so funny and he'd say, "Nothing. Just sibling stuff." One night, about 6 weeks after the surgery, I walked in on him texting her. He flipped his phone face down like it was instinct. My stomach dropped, but I didn't say anything. I couldn't bring myself to. I just donated a kidney to this woman. Surely I was overthinking. Then 2 months after the surgery, we were supposed to go out for dinner. Just the two of us. A celebration finally to say thank you. I was waiting in the living room, heels on, hair done, watching the time tick past. 45 minutes later, Evan still wasn't home. I called him, no answer. Then like an idiot, I tried again. The third time, I heard the buzz. He'd left his work phone at home. I picked it up to move it, and that's when a notification flashed on the lock screen. "Lila, I hate when you leave. Come back and finish what you started." Everything stopped. My lungs forgot how to work. My hands turned to ice. My entire body, still healing, still scarred, screamed from the inside. I didn't unlock the phone. I didn't need to. That message told me everything. They weren't just reconnecting emotionally. They weren't just siblings. They'd been together, really together. Maybe before the surgery, maybe long before. I sat there staring at the screen, heart pounding, waiting for the door to open, for Evan to come home and feed me another beautiful lie. He walked in an hour later, smelling like her perfume. I didn't say a word, not yet. But that was the moment I knew I wasn't just betrayed. I was used. I gave a piece of my body to save the woman he actually loved, and I still had to figure out how deep the betrayal went. I didn't sleep that night. I lay there in the dark, clutching my side like I could somehow pull the pain out of my body. Evan was snoring beside me, peaceful, like he hadn't shattered everything we built. I watched the shadows on the ceiling and wondered if he dreamed about her while lying next to me. The next morning, I made coffee like usual. I poured his mug first. Vanilla creamer, no sugar, just how he likes it. I wasn't trying to be sweet. I just needed one more day to act normal before I burned it all down. Because I had a plan. First, I got into his phone. I knew the passcode. I'd always known it. I had never needed to use it for anything shady before. I used to trust him. I opened the messages with Lila, and what I saw broke whatever was left of me. This wasn't just a new thing. The text went back months, before the transplant, before she even got really sick. And it wasn't just flirty texts. It was full-on love letters. They said they missed each other when he was with me. They had plans for after the surgery. They joked about how strong and selfless I was, like I was some helpful stranger, not the woman Evan had promised to marry. There was even one message that chilled me to the bone. Lila, I hate pretending, but soon she'll recover and we can stop lying. Pretending, lying, to me. I couldn't breathe. I dropped the phone like it burned. That evening, I told him we needed to talk. He looked up from the couch and blinked like a confused child. What's up? I asked him if he loved me. He said, of course I do. I asked if there was anything he wanted to tell me. He frowned. Like what? I held up his phone. His face changed. It wasn't guilt. It was panic. And then he did what cheaters always do when they know they've been caught. He lied anyway. He said, it's not what you think. I laughed. I actually laughed, like some deranged woman in a Lifetime movie. Not what I think? Really? So when she said, come back and finish what you started, she meant, what, a Netflix episode? He didn't answer, just stared at the floor like it held the script he was supposed to follow. That silence told me everything. I asked him how long it had been going on. He wouldn't say. Just shook his head and whispered, I'm sorry. That's when I snapped. You let me carve open my body for her, I said. You held my hand in that hospital and told me I was saving your sister. You let me believe you were mine while you were sleeping with her. Still, he wouldn't speak, just kept repeating, I didn't mean for this to happen. I told him I was moving out. He looked shocked, like he thought I'd just cry, yell, maybe throw something, and then stay. He followed me to the bedroom, trying to talk, trying to spin some story about how he was confused, how it started before he knew how deep his feelings for her went. I stopped packing and looked him dead in the eye. Do you love her? And he didn't deny it. He didn't even pause, and he just said, yeah, I think I do. That's when the numbness set in. I left the next morning. I didn't tell anyone right away. Not my friends, not my parents. I couldn't. How do you explain that you were used as a glorified organ donor in a twisted love triangle? It took a week before I texted Lila. I didn't curse her out. I didn't threaten her. I just said, you win. You always wanted him, didn't you? Hope he's worth the scar I see every time I look in the mirror. She didn't reply. A few days later, Evan emailed me. Emailed like a damn coworker. He said he was sorry things happened the way they did, but he hoped we could all move forward without bitterness. That he still appreciated what I did for Lila, and that we all owe you so much. We all owe you. Like I donated a kidney to a charity. Like it wasn't the most painful, intimate, vulnerable act of love I had ever done in my life. And that's when the rage hit. I realized I hadn't just been betrayed, I'd been reduced, turned into a plot device in their romance. My body, my pain, my trust, all just collateral damage in their twisted little reunion. I didn't respond, but I've been documenting everything. Because this story isn't over yet. You'd think that once the truth comes out, once the lies are laid bare, the pain would stop sharpening. But no, it just changes shape. I moved back into my old apartment, a tiny place I subleased in college. I kept the blinds drawn and my phone on silent. Some days I didn't eat, some nights I didn't sleep. My body was still recovering from surgery, but the emotional trauma, that ran deeper than any scalpel. Friends started reaching out when they noticed the ring was gone. I told them bits and pieces. I couldn't bring myself to say the whole thing. How do you look someone in the eye and admit, he let me bleed on an operating table so he could be with her? One night, my best friend Rachel showed up at my door with a grocery bag full of wine, takeout, and a fury I'd never seen on her face before. "Tell me everything," she said. So I did. She listened, mouth tight, fists clenched. At the end, she whispered, "That fucking coward, that parasite." We made a plan over cheap dumplings and even cheaper Chardonnay. Not revenge exactly, but truth. Exposure. I needed to stop carrying their shame like it was mine. So I wrote an email. It wasn't dramatic or angry, just the facts. Clear, cold, devastating facts. I sent it to Evan's family, his mom, his dad, his brother, even his stepfather, the one who raised Lila like his own. I told them the timeline. I told them I donated my kidney to Lila. I told them that 2 months later, Evan left me for her. No accusations, no insults, just reality. The responses came fast. Evan's mom called me sobbing, apologizing over and over, said she had no idea, that she thought I was her future daughter-in-law and that I'd brought light into their family, that she didn't raise her son to be this. His brother sent a single line, "I'm ashamed to share a last name with him." But the one that broke me came from Evan's stepdad. "I loved you like my own. I'm so sorry. I had my suspicions about them years ago, but I never imagined this. Please take care of yourself. You deserve better. Always." Deserved better. I clung to those words for days because in the darkest moments, the ones where I questioned everything about myself, it was easy to believe the betrayal was my fault, that I wasn't enough, that maybe he loved her more because she was more lovable. But the truth is, they didn't win anything. Not really. What kind of love is born from lies and stolen trust? What kind of future do you build on someone else's ruin? I started seeing a therapist. I told her everything, and for the first time, someone helped me name what happened. Medical betrayal, emotional exploitation, narcissistic triangulation. She told me I wasn't crazy for feeling used, that it wasn't just a breakup, it was a full-body violation, that I'd made a decision, an irreversible, life-altering medical decision based on lies. That hit hard. She also helped me reframe it. I didn't lose. I loved deeply. I gave selflessly. I showed up for someone who didn't deserve it, and that says everything about me and nothing about them. Evan and Lila, they're still together from what I hear. She posted a photo a few weeks ago, them at a vineyard smiling, glasses in hand. He looked older, hollow, like someone pretending to be happy. A mutual friend told me they've been keeping it low-key. Not many people know the full story. I've made sure their silence doesn't rewrite my truth. Because here's what they don't realize. I may be scarred, but I'm healing. I may be shaken, but I'm strong. I walked away with my dignity, my integrity, and a hell of a story that isn't over yet. I started a blog, just a quiet one. Anonymous at first, a place to write everything down. Turns out, I'm not alone. So many women, too many, have been used, discarded, betrayed in ways that never make it into polite conversation. So I wrote, and people read, and then they wrote back. And somewhere in those shared scars, I found something I didn't expect. Power. The power to start again. The power to define my own story. Not as the woman who got used, but as the woman who survived. 6 months. That's how long it's been since I walked out of that apartment. 6 months since I left behind the man I was supposed to marry and the woman I helped save. I still carry the scar, 3 inches across, pink, stubborn. Some days it throbs if I move the wrong way, but mostly it's just there, a silent reminder of the pain, of the strength, of the love I gave so freely. I've started wearing crop tops again, not for anyone else, for me. Let people stare. Let them wonder. I earned that scar. In those early weeks, I thought about calling Evan. I wanted to scream, cry, demand answers he'd never be brave enough to give. But I didn't, because what would I be fighting for? A liar's explanation? A coward's apology? He didn't just break my heart, he rewrote our entire story in ink I never saw drying. And Lila? I haven't heard a single word from her since I texted her that night. No apology, no explanation. Nothing. But silence speaks. I don't think she ever felt guilty. I think she got what she wanted and assumed I'd fade into the background, like a deleted scene in their twisted little love story. Except I didn't fade. I rebuilt, bit by bit, day by day. Rachel helped, so did therapy, so did the blog. I started getting emails from strangers, some thanking me, some sharing their own heartbreaks. A few were women who'd also donated organs for partners or in-laws, only to be discarded after. It's more common than you think. We're all walking around with invisible wounds, just trying to keep breathing. I started calling us the Scarred Sisters, not in pity, in power, because every scar, every betrayal, every gut-wrenching goodbye, we survived it. A few weeks ago, something strange happened. I got a letter in the mail, no return address, just my name. Inside was a folded piece of notebook paper and a single photograph. The photo was of me, post-surgery, lying in that hospital bed, smiling weakly as Evan held my hand. My eyes were tired but full of love, his smile hollow. On the back, someone had written in shaky handwriting, "I'm sorry, you deserved better. I don't know how to live with what I did." There was no name, but I knew it was from him. I stared at it for a long time, and then I burned it. Because closure doesn't come in an envelope. It comes when you decide you're done carrying someone else's shame. I am done. I'm not healed, not completely. Some wounds never fully close, but I'm healing. I started dating again, slowly, carefully. I'm not looking for another savior or someone to save, just someone real, honest, someone who sees me, scar and all, and doesn't flinch. Last week, a guy I've been seeing asked me what my scar was from. I told him the truth. I waited for the look of pity, the awkward silence. Instead, he just nodded and said, "That's the bravest thing I've ever heard." Then he kissed it. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel used. I felt seen. So yeah, I donated a kidney to my fiance's sister, and he left me for her. But I didn't lose, because love like mine, that's rare, that's real. And one day, someone worthy is going to know just how damn lucky they are to have it. Until then, I'm choosing me. Subscribe for more real-life confessions from the backseat of heartbreak.